Can the Clubhouse app be the ultimate law firm growth tool? Episode 165. Are you ready to make your law firm a profit-generating machine that will free up your time and skyrocket your impact? With more than 2 decades of business growth experience and having proven that you can be successful while prioritizing your family and your impact, introducing the Profit with Law podcast. I am your host, the creator of the Firm Differentiator 10X Effect, Moshe Amsel. Well, hello and welcome to another episode here on the Profit with Law podcast. I'm your host, Moshe Amsel, and you are in for a treat. For some of you, you've never heard of Clubhouse, and for others, you have been seeing it all over Facebook and LinkedIn, and you're wondering, what in the world is this thing? And for some of you, you're already on Clubhouse, and your life has been taken over. So in this episode, I am going to cover the following questions to really help you understand what you're missing out on or how to be more strategic with what you're already doing. So first, I'm going to talk about what is Clubhouse. Then I'm going to ask you, why should an attorney care about the platform? Then we're going to cover, is Clubhouse the next Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter? How should I think about positioning Clubhouse in my marketing strategy? What are the pitfalls or drawbacks of Clubhouse? And finally, how do I get started with Clubhouse? And I'm going to share a framework that I created to help you called Engage, Present, and Elevate. So if you want to hear all of these questions answered, if you want to learn about my framework, stay tuned. You want to stick with me to the end of this episode. Now, before I get started, I just want to welcome you. It is the first episode of 2021. For my new listeners, you want to make sure to hit the subscribe button and make sure you get notified every time that we release a new episode. We're here twice a week, every Tuesday and Thursday. For my longtime listeners, I want to welcome you back. Happy New Year. I hope that you enjoyed your holidays. We have something new coming into 2021, and that is a podcast sponsor. We're going to have many more of them coming up, but you're going to be hearing more about this particular sponsor over the course of the next few months, and I want to share with you today about LawFunder. So one of the things that we've been talking about on the podcast here is the ability to help your clients be able to close the deal, be able to get a client in a way that makes the service, the judicial service, affordable to them, creates greater access to justice, but doesn't cheapen or take away from what you command as an attorney. So if you can present to your client everything that you typically would, and then they're at this point in the conversation where they're wondering, how am I going to pay for this? And you wish that at that moment you can offer them a payment plan. The problem is, if you offer them a payment plan, then you're on the hook for what if they don't pay? What if I complete their service, I complete the engagement, and they are not completed with their payment plan? How do I make sure that they're going to come back and they're going to pay what they owe me? And therefore, you can't offer it. It's not one of the tools you can use in your tool chest to make the sale. Well, LawFunder is the answer, because LawFunder has a ability for you to provide installments to your clients that allows your clients to leverage existing availability on their credit card to split up their invoice into interest-free monthly installments that you take no risk on. It is completely tied to their credit card, has nothing to do with you at the firm. For a small fee, you can provide this ability to your clients and be able to close more business, be able to help them out. And even in the collections process, you can help your clients pay an outstanding invoice that they are struggling to pay by offering them these installment plans. So you definitely want to go to lawfunder.com, and that's spelled lawfundar.com/profitwithlaw to check out the service and see if it's right for you. You definitely want to take a look there and see the details. Go to lawfunder.com/profitwithlaw. Now, let's talk about Clubhouse. But before we do, you all know the Law Firm Growth Summit is coming up, and we're going to have some amazing announcements, but the price of tickets is going up. As a matter of fact, we are considering on the back end about changing our pricing structure altogether. So we've been incrementing the prices of the tickets very, very small amounts every single week. And we are, based on the ticket sales and based on the volume that we're seeing and the interest level that we're seeing, we are considering getting rid of the premium level, raising the price of the VIP level, and locking in the price of the All Access Pass. So if you haven't taken the time to go to lawfirmgrowthsummit.com and check it out, you want to do that now, because there's a good chance that the tickets that are the VIP tickets that are $297 right now may be $497 the next time you look, because we're really considering changing the structure of our pricing and increasing the price point of that. Now, just so you know, the VIP is what includes a physical swag box that you're going to get in the mail, as well as the recordings of everything that happens at the event. We're going to have over 40 speakers. It's going to be an amazing experience, February 9th to 11th. You definitely want to check it out. Go to lawfirmgrowthsummit.com and get your tickets now. What is Clubhouse? Clubhouse is the latest fad in social media apps. First was Facebook, then came Instagram. Well, actually, first was Twitter, then came Facebook, then came Instagram, then came Snapchat, and then came TikTok, and now we've got Clubhouse. And every single time that a new social media app comes up, everybody starts talking about how this is the next best thing for your business. This is the next way to get online, the next way to find clients, the next way to get visibility. Well, I am always hesitant, I'm always leery, and I'm always questioning, is it really going to help my business? Well, last week, one of my coaching clients in a coaching call brought up the Clubhouse app. And thank you, Heather, for bringing it to my attention, because after that, I said, I am intrigued by this, the way that she described it, but not intrigued enough to actually download the app and check it out. But a little bit later, I saw something pop up in my Facebook feed where somebody was asking a question about Clubhouse. Hey, does anybody have an invite that they can send me so I can join Clubhouse? Now, I'm not a superstitious person, but I do believe that if something catches my attention multiple times in a day, I should pay attention to it. So I said, you know what? If Clubhouse is mentioned one more time during the day, then I am going to check it out. And sure enough, there was a third instance during that same day where another message popped up. It wasn't in on my Facebook feed. It was actually in a group that I'm in, and there was another conversation about Clubhouse. And I said, that's it. I am going to check this thing out. I created my account and I put out. So essentially, what Clubhouse is still technically in beta. It's around for three to 6 months. I don't know exactly how long. And I'm going to describe what it is in a moment. But in order to even get on it, first of all, you have to have an iPhone, because the app is only available on the iPhone, not on Android. So if you're an Android user, you have to wait. It's not ready. It's not available for you yet. And you also need to be invited in by somebody else who's already in Clubhouse. So you either need to know somebody who is in Clubhouse that has an invite, or sometimes if your cell phone number is in somebody else's contacts on their phone and they're in Clubhouse, Clubhouse might prompt them to say, hey, this person is waiting for an invite. Would you like to let them in? And then you can let them in and it doesn't cost you an invite. And when you first join Clubhouse, you're given one invite. Use it carefully, because it's not so easy to earn invites to the app. But you can post on your Facebook feed, you can post on your Instagram, you can post in a Facebook group, and you can say, hey, I created my username. Is there anybody who has an invite that can let me into the app? So getting into the app is the first hurdle, because it's restricted. It's right now, it's the ground floor. And the ability to get in is limited to this invite process. Now, Clubhouse is, think of a Zoom call, right? So how many times have you joined a Zoom call, but you kept your video off because you were having a bad hair day, because you're still in your pajamas, because you're sitting on the couch and you don't like the way that it looks, or you simply don't want to hold the phone up so your face is in the video, right? Clubhouse is essentially an audio-based social app. There is nothing recorded. There is zero text whatsoever as far as conversation goes. Now, you do have text in your profile, and there is text describing the rooms, but essentially it's a series of rooms and clubs and people with profiles. And you follow people, they follow you. You can join clubs, and you get notified when people that you're following are in a room as a moderator, or they schedule a room in the future, or they invite you to a club or something like that. Now, essentially, when you go into a room, you enter as a listener. You're off the stage. Now, you could raise your hand, and the moderator of the room can elevate you to the stage, and at that point, you have the ability to speak. Now, there is certain etiquette in Clubhouse, and I don't want this to be a Clubhouse 101 tutorial. That's not the intention of this episode. But if you go to, actually, I forget the URL. I'd have to look it up. I'll put it in the show notes. But if you just search how to use Clubhouse, it's going to come up. There is a Clubhouse kind of tutorial that gives you just the basics of how to use Clubhouse, and you learn some basic things like PTR means pull to refresh. So you want to see who's in the room. Sometimes you need to pull down on the screen in order to refresh the page so you can see who's on stage and who's in the room. You can clap when you like something somebody is saying by rapidly muting and unmuting your microphone, only when you're a speaker on the stage. Now, there's moderators, and they're the people who have control over the room, and either one or more moderators are running the room, and then there's speakers who have raised their hand, and the moderator has brought them to the stage, and the moderator can put them back into the audience, and then basically, there is a discussion that's happening, and it is a multi-dimensional conversation because you have different people that can contribute and can talk, and that is basically what Clubhouse is. Now, what's the big deal, right? Why is it so amazing to have this audio conversation app, and what's the power behind it? So, and this goes into the next question that I wanted to discuss on this show is, why should an attorney care about the platform? And here's the deal. There's two different uses for the platform. One is to educate yourself. And the second, well, there's three really. One is to educate yourself. Two is the social aspect. And three is to create a platform for you to get exposed to new business. And that is why I think that an attorney should care about the platform, because all three of those are relevant to you. Number one, education. There are rooms on all kinds of topics in the platform. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be hosting rooms on the platform. So you want to follow me. My handle is @ProfitWithLaw. So when you do get your Clubhouse invite, or if you're already in there, just go into the search for Profit with Law. You will find me and click that follow button. Now, when you click the follow button, to the left of it, there is a bell. Click the bell and choose, I forget if it's all the time or always. That's to notify you about stuff that I'm doing. So you don't want the app to choose when to notify you. You want to make sure you get notified every time I start a room, schedule a room, or anything like that. So, welcome to my world, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in Clubhouse on the app. Now, the beautiful thing is I already like audio, right? I do a podcast, right? It's an audio podcast. I love audio. So I love speaking and interacting, but the problem is that podcasting is a one-way conversation. I stand behind the microphone, I talk to you, I tell you what I'm thinking or anything like that, but you don't get to ask me questions. You don't get to give me feedback. We don't get to have other people come in who are knowledgeable and are able to share their opinion on the subject matter and make it even better than what we're putting out there. So unfortunately, Clubhouse is not recorded, so you got to be there in order to catch it. So what's happening is that major influencers like Grant Cardone, Gary Vaynerchuk, Tai Lopez, people who are just very well-known online social media billionaires or millionaires are on the platform. What's his name? The shark. I can't believe I'm forgetting his name right now. Never mind. I'm not even going to try to remember while I'm behind the microphone. But you name it, a who's who of people that you might want to connect with. A lot of them are on the platform and they're present in the conversation, which is wild. It's amazing. And you can learn from a ton of people. So if you're interested in real estate, if you're interested in investing, if you're interested in growing your law firm, if you're interested in I don't know, fly fishing, there are conversations happening around these topics. And all you need to do is find those conversations and you can join and you can learn from experts. I'm putting on a virtual summit in February. There's a ton of rooms around putting on a virtual summit. I'm getting all kinds of ideas by going into those rooms just for brief moments of conversation, and I am hearing what people are doing, and that is making me think and making the wheel spin about how I can make my event better, what can I do differently, and things like that. So there's a ton of conversations that you can participate in as a listener and get educated. The second piece is the social piece, right? We are, especially today, we are so confined in our homes. We can't go out. We can't go to stores. We can't interact with other people. We can't have parties. And because of that, we are in this situation where we are craving relationships with other human beings. And even on Facebook and Instagram and things like that, you're commenting back and forth. It's not a conversation. You come in here and you literally are having conversations with people. You can create your own room privately and have conversations with just 2 or 3 people and catch up, or you can have a public room and you're having conversations with other people in the public room. And the beautiful thing is that it's beautiful and it's scary at the same time, is that people are so in love with this platform and they are so engaged that you literally have rooms that go on for days. And you hear people saying, hey, I've been on here since 3 a.m., or I've been on here until 3 a.m., or I've been on here for 2 or 3 days. Now, it's scary also, and that's one of the bad things about it. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But the second thing is the social aspect. The third is your own visibility, your own ability to get attention and get clients ultimately, right? We don't just want attention. Followers don't pay the bills. We don't just need followers. But what we need is people to recognize us as an authority in our field and then come and say, hey, I need help and I'd like you to help me because I saw you in this Clubhouse room. You were providing very valuable information to the people. It made sense. You know what you're talking about. And you come in there and you provide that value, and then people follow you, and people connect with you, and people interact with you. So there is the ability to get new business by being present on the platform in a moderator or speaker capacity. So that's why an attorney should care about the platform. Now, the next question is Clubhouse the next Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter? In other words, is this going to be the next big thing, or is this going to be something that crashes and burns? And I will tell you this. It definitely has some potential, some significant potential, because anybody who jumps onto Clubhouse, practically anybody, at least anybody I've spoken to that jumped onto Clubhouse, is going nuts about it. Now, there's that could be a good thing, it could be a bad thing, because they could go nuts about it and dive into it and get lost in it, and then 2 weeks later emerge and say, oh my gosh, I've given up my life, I need to get back to things, and delete the app off their phone, and they're done, right? So that could be the downside of it. But the upside is that people are excited about it. It's creating buzz, it's creating conversation. And if you go on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, you can see messages all over the place of, hey, does somebody have an invite to let me in? Can I get into Clubhouse? So the tide is rising. That wave is coming of people who are waiting to get in that can't get in. And when they open it to the public, it's going to get flooded with people. And the people who are already in there and already have a ton of followers, that gives them influencer status in the platform, and that's going to make it easier for them to grow within the platform. So, is it the next Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter? I don't think so. I doubt it, especially not in the current iteration, because there's nothing recorded, there's no text, it's all live conversation. So I think it's different than the purpose and the uses of those other platforms. However, if they start to allow recording of these rooms, if they start to allow you to do other things like chat with the people on the stage or with each other while the audio conversation's going on, that could change the game, and that could make it even more relevant as a competitor to Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Now, I don't think in the current iteration that you should abandon all your marketing plans to, give up Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter or Snapchat or TikTok or wherever you are and go all in on Clubhouse. I do not think you should do that, but I do think that you can be really smart about how you take Clubhouse and position it within your marketing. So I'm just going to take a moment before I go into the next question, which is how should I think about positioning Clubhouse in my marketing strategy, which I just perfectly laid up for you. I'm just going to take a moment and share with you our sponsor one more time. So LawFunder is a payment processing company that can help you with your clients' collections, your sales. You can offer payment plans that are risk-free to you, risk-free to your client, and allows them to get these interest-free monthly installments on an outstanding bill or a potential engagement that you're trying to sell to them. So if you are, imagine giving your client the key to unlocking interest-free reward earning, and this is really important, right? They like to earn rewards, right? So even if you were to offer your own payment plan, you might limit them. Hey, that you can't pay by credit card. You got to pay us by check or by ACH. This way, they can earn their rewards from their credit cards. They can add it to whatever other financial obligations they have by putting it on their credit card, and give them these monthly payments that are interest-free and no risk to you, no recourse, and zero technical implementation required. It sounds like a dream come true. And that's why I'm so excited about it. And that's why I'm excited about sharing it here. Go to lawfunder.com/profitwithlaw, lawfunder.com/profitwithlaw, and check it out. You're going to win more business. Don't let customers walk out the door because you don't have a payment plan option for them. It's going to improve unpleasant collection calls because you now can offer clients who have these outstanding invoices an easy and user-friendly way to pay and get their outstanding balance resolved with you. And in the meantime, they think they're taking 4 months to pay, but you get paid right away up front. And you can help clients get the services that they need at the time that they need it. They don't have to sit there and wait 2-3 months till they have enough money to afford to pay for you. They can get those monthly installments. So go to lawfunder.com/profitwithlaw, lawfundar.com/profitwithlaw. Check them out. Now, how should I think about positioning Clubhouse in my marketing strategy? There are many different ways that you can use Clubhouse in your marketing strategy, but essentially what you need to do is you need to think about who is my target client, who is the avatar, who is the person that I'm talking to. And we've had lots of conversations on this podcast about the understanding your ideal client so that you can speak with them. Well, now you need to understand how to find them. What are the conversations that your client is looking for? For example, if you're a bankruptcy attorney, what conversations is somebody who is debating whether they are bankrupt, whether they need to file for bankruptcy, what conversations are they going to be attracted to? Well, the conversations that talk about getting out of debt, the conversations that talk about fixing your financial life, the conversations that talk about removing the shackles of creditors, those are the conversations they're going to be attracted to. So you have to seek out those conversations on Clubhouse and see, are they happening on this platform? And if they are, now how do I position myself to be in those conversations? And how do I make sure that I am getting seen by the people who are relevant to me? And by beefing up your profile and putting in there the next step. So what happens is you're on stage, you're sharing valuable information, somebody clicks on your picture and they say, oh, well, who is this person? What do they do? And they click on your picture, and your profile is written in a way to drive them to book a call with you, or to request more information, or to download something that's going to help them as the next step, and then give you their contact information so you can continue to follow up with them. That is what's so beautiful about Clubhouse. You don't have to be actively selling to them. You are just having conversations that you're enjoying having because you are a knowledge expert on the subject matter. Right? So you come into the room and you're a knowledge expert on the subject matter, you're able to speak to it. And then when you're doing that, people who are in the room are seeing you in that light, and they check you out. And then that breeds additional conversation behind the scenes. So that's the primary way that you would use Clubhouse. Now, as you elevate your status within the platform, as you gain more followers, you could be more direct with pitching yourself, pitching your services, but it bodes better for certain things than for other things. So, for example, if you're selling coaching services or courses or things like that, where you can sell a product right there in the room, that's easy to do. But when you are selling legal services, that becomes a more difficult thing to do. It's still possible, but I would just assume that you're going to direct them to follow up with you after the call, after the conversation, so that you can speak to them about their specific situation and then sell them your services and close them on it. So that's how you should start thinking about positioning Clubhouse. Now, how do you position it within the rest of your marketing strategy? Well, if you're going to be active on Clubhouse, if you know what room you're going to participate in, you should be posting that on Facebook and on LinkedIn and on Twitter, whatever is your social platform. You should be posting, hey, I'm going to be here at this and this time. Come and follow me. Come and join me. And that is another way that you're going to get people in the room. The more people you get in the room, the more the room will grow, because when people are in the room, they can invite other people into the room. And if it's a good conversation, they're going to want to invite people that follow them that they know might be interested. And then the beautiful thing is that so they can invite the people that they follow into the room. The people who follow them will get notified that they're in a room. So it's a really interesting dynamic, and it's an interesting strategy to be able to add this into your arsenal of things that you're already doing. If you're already doing any live video, any podcasting, any sort of content creation to try to create an audience of some kind, then definitely Clubhouse is something you should check out. If you aren't doing any of those and you're considering doing them, Clubhouse is something you should check out. If you're not interested in any of that, you don't want to spend any of your effort on the marketing, you just want to hand it over to a marketing agency and have them bring in leads, you probably don't want to be on Clubhouse. So that is what I think about positioning Clubhouse in your marketing strategy. Now, what are the pitfalls or drawbacks of Clubhouse? The pitfalls or drawbacks of Clubhouse are a few things. Number one, if you don't have an iPhone or you don't have a friend who can let you in, you can't use it. Okay, that's number one. Number two, it is very addictive. And you can go into a room and get lost there and be there for 5-6 hours and get nothing done, or be up till 3-4 in the morning and realize, oh my gosh, I'm only going to get 2 hours of sleep and I got to get my day started. You can be hosting a room and the room gets carried away and you don't realize it. I hosted my first room this past weekend. It was, I think, Saturday night. I decided I want to try this out. I hosted a room. Allison Williams, the Law Firm Mentor, from the Law Firm Mentor podcast, she came in the room and we had great conversation, and we had people coming in, and it was really great. I think we had over 100 people come through the room. We had probably over 50 people there at one time, at the same time. And it was great conversation. And we really enjoyed it. Like, we enjoy helping people. Allison is one of the people who's going to be speaking at the Law Firm Growth Summit. She and I have become close friends over the last year and a half. So I was happy to share the room with her. And Melanie Leonard also came in. I forgot Melanie Leonard was also there. Melanie Leonard from Streamline Legal. And Melanie Leonard is also one of our instructors or hosts in the Law Firm Growth Incubator that we run for firms that are earning $500,000 or less in revenue. So it was a great time and a great conversation. But you know what happened? We ran for over 4 hours. It was almost 2 a.m. when I finally said, listen, I got to close this room down. I got to wake up tomorrow morning. I got to feed my kids breakfast. So the pitfalls or drawbacks is you got to be able to set boundaries for yourself. You have to know your limitations. You have to know, when am I going to go in? And by the way, you got to turn off notifications on your phone for Clubhouse, because if you don't, every time, not just every time somebody starts a room, but every time somebody joins a room that you follow, so it could be the same room and 15 people that you follow are joining the room. Every time one of them joins, you get a new notification. Your phone will go nuts with notifications for Clubhouse. And then you got this FOMO thing going on. Oh my gosh, I'm missing out. I should be in Clubhouse. I got to click on it. I got to listen. And then all of a sudden you're listening when you should be doing other things. And what I found is that I'm listening when I'm hanging out with my kids, and I'm listening when I'm hanging out with my wife, and I'm listening, and before I know it, it has completely overtaken my life. And I'm in it for less than a week. And I'm already telling you, look, this thing is dangerous. It's addictive. It can ruin relationships for sure. So I'm telling you this because if you enter into it knowing this is a problem, then you enter into it with a plan on how to make sure that it's not a problem for you. So definitely you want to think about, if I were to get involved with an app like this, how would I control when I'm there? And what I suggest is remember I told you there's 3 reasons that you would want to be there. One is to learn, the second is for social, and the third is to grow your own business. You have to be very specific about what are the times that I'm going to allow myself to go in for these 3 purposes. When am I going to go in to educate myself? When am I going to go in to socialize with other people? And when am I going to go in to promote my brand? And you have to be very, very honest with yourself and responsible to make sure that you're sticking to those 3 things and the time frames that you allotted to them, so that you don't end up crashing and burning because you went all in, got hooked, got addicted, and now it's a problem for you and you have to extract yourself from the app. The last question that I said I would discuss is, how do I get started with Clubhouse? We kind of answered that already, but I'm just going to recap. You got to download the app on your iPhone. You got to have an iPhone. You got to download the app on your iPhone. You have to put your mobile number in there and verify your mobile number and create a screen name. Then you want to reach out to anybody that you know who might have an invite to invite you in, or wait for somebody that has your mobile number in their phone who's on the app to get pinged by the app to say, hey, do you want to let this person in? Unfortunately, there is no backdoor secret ninja way to get in. That's basically it. But don't give up. Some people are better connected than others. I was lucky enough that somebody let me in fairly quickly. I guess it just depends on who you know and whether they currently have an invite. The best thing is to get probably connect with a bunch of people who aren't in yet, and say, hey, when you get in, I'm going to give you my cell phone number. Put it in your phone, and when you get in, can you send me your invite? Because when somebody gets in, they get one invite. And they may not realize, hey, I'm not going to get an invite for a while. And if they don't already know somebody who wants to get in, they might invite you right away. And that could be the easiest way to get in. So that's how you get started with joining the app. And then as far as using the app, Google it, or I'm about to share with you. So I don't know if this will be available the day that this episode comes out. It may or may not be. It depends on how crazy I want to push myself through the night. But I am going to compile a course, a very short, easy course, but I'm going to compile a course that teaches you how to use the Clubhouse app using my framework. So I created this framework. It's called Engage, Present, Elevate, and it walks you through this process of how to get started on the app, grow your presence, and get known to other people, and then how to drive them from once they see you, how to drive them into these conversations offline that will lead to business. So if you're interested, I'm making it available for free, and it's going to be titled something along the lines, you see how well I thought this out, right? So I just became a Clubhouse user over the weekend. I'm recording this literally Monday night before this episode gets released on Tuesday. And I am telling you that I'm going to be releasing a course called, let's see, what's it going to be called? It's going to be called Clubhouse for Law Firm. Learn how to harness Clubhouse in your law firm in a day. That is my goal. My goal is that to have you go through this and in less than a day have you strategized and already on your way to getting clients from the app. So that is it's something like that. Anyway, go to profitwithlaw.com/clubhouse. We're going to have it available for download there. If you get there and it gives you a 404 error, it just means we didn't finish putting it up there yet. Come back and check back for it. It's going to be absolutely free. You're going to have to give me your info. You're going to have to give me your name, email address, phone number, and maybe some other information, but probably just name, email, and phone number. And then we're going to hound you. So after that, we're going to let you know when I'm going live in Clubhouse and what rooms we have scheduled. And we're also going to promote the heck out of this Law Firm Growth Summit. So just know that's the price of admission into this course. You get to hear from me a little bit more. If you're already on my email list, you'll hear about this as well. I'm going to send it out to everybody. And that's basically it. So this framework, Engage, Present, Elevate, I teach it to you in this course. Go to profitwithlaw.com/clubhouse. It's absolutely free. Just give us your name, email, and phone number, and we will provide that course to you. And you can get started in less than a day on the Clubhouse app. That's basically it. That's all I've got to share. So if you haven't yet got your tickets to the Law Firm Growth Summit, you want to go to lawfirmgrowthsummit.com. You want to get them today. There is a good chance that we're going to be doing a significant increase in price over the course of the next week. We're about to announce our entire speaker lineup, our entire agenda. It will be released probably by the end of this first week of January 2021, leaving you 4 weeks to get super excited, engaged, and ready. And we're going to be announcing some really cool stuff next week that might have something to do about some amazing giveaways we're doing and how you can earn those giveaways. Folks, Happy New Year once again. Welcome back. And I look forward to catching you on our next episode. We've got an amazing interview coming up on Thursday, and I can't wait to share it with you. Take care. Enjoy your day. That's it for this week's episode of Profit with Law. If you have enjoyed the show, please consider sharing it with at least one person. Imagine how many lives we can change if we each shared this episode. Another way to share the episode is on social media. We appreciate your support and look forward to you joining us again next week.